Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 219, and today we're going to be doing battle with Scouts. And so Scouts, everybody knows Scouts. The dumb deck's been in the game almost the entirety of the game's lifespan. As soon as the Rising Tides hit, this was something that really shot into the meta and then just never left. And it's one that always kind of surprises me in the sense that we've jumped into this competitive landscape, 6 months ago or so. Expeditions went away, so we just started playing Constructed, and it strikes me as a deck that everybody just forgets about. Nobody plays with it, nobody considers it, and then once you get about a week or two out from seasonals, people start and go, oh shit, Scouts just beats everything but one deck. And I think that could be the space that we're kind of into right now. And so if you're looking to hit some end of season ladder goals or whatnot, then this could be potentially a quite strong deck for you right now. Especially in the sense that it may be a deck that you're already familiar with. And so it is worth noting the big change coming out of the 319 patch was the weakness granted to the rallies. And so Golden Aegis now costing 5, Relentless Pursuit now costing 4 and not giving any bonuses. I'm not quite certain which of these I would prefer. They do definitely still belong in the deck, but as we're looking into these spaces as to where you want to rally on turn 7 with Cythria. You want to play a rally and a for Demacia in the same turn. It's tough for me right now to really decide if those big style plays are more important than those turns to where you get to say Golden Aegis a Quinn on your opponent's turn to help your units flip, or you get to Golden Aegis a Misfortune to help her attack. And so as it stands right now, I'm going for the high-powered plays and the Relentless Pursuit. But I could definitely see the argument on both sides of the coin. But the thing that has really drawn me to Scouts in this phase are 2 points, right? The thing that Scouts has always traditionally been bad against are decks like Pantheon. These decks that are able to put forth one big, gigantic unit, and that unit has Overwhelm, and then that Overwhelm can't be interacted with well in combat, so our strategy of going around it doesn't really work. And then they come back and just dome us for 8 damage and attack. And so you see this in the past with the Pantheon decks, now with the Varus decks, and then with some of the Vayne decks, the big one being Vayne Rumble that was really a problem. But with the release of the 319 patch, we aren't seeing nearly as much Vayne. And a lot of the decks that are packing Pantheon are also playing Varus. And so, at least in terms of best of 3, if they're going to wrap up their big, overwhelming unit thing into one deck, that would be great for Scouts. It might be a little bit more dangerous for us on the ladder, though. But on the positive side of the coin, the thing that really excites me about playing a deck like Scouts are the real prevalence of 1 health units in the format right now. And so we see a lot of Teemo Zoe, whatever your favorite flavor of elusives is. There's going to be Teemo in it, Zoe in it, things like the Flight in it. And so they have a lot of these really fragile early game plays that we can try and take advantage of. And then there's a lot of Draven what's her name? Draven Jinx running around. And that is a deck playing things like Jury Rig. It's really counting on the usefulness of things like Daring Poro. And with our deck having access to Make It Rains and Misfortunes and all of these challengers, we have a lot of game against those early game plays. And so I'm quite interested in that sense. And then, of course, always with Scouts, you have a lot of options in terms of your deck choices and your slots. And so here we're playing Cythria. I think with the idea of all these 1 health unit decks running around, there being a lot of Nora in the format right now, I'd really prefer to have the fearsome aspects of Cythria as opposed to playing something like Genevieve. And then we are trying to kind of pop off a little bit with our Misfortunes by playing the full sets of Island Navigators. And so we have the full width package in the Mirai Warden, the Island Navigators, a bigger Scouts package with the full set of Island Navigators, the full set of Quins, no Genevieves, and then the strong early game stuff with the Wardens and the 5 full Challengers. And so that's it. This is what we're going to be doing battle with today. Let's head on in. Let's keep on scouting. See how these things go. All right. What you got for us, opponent? Deep. Deep is not a good matchup. Not one that was really on my radar of things that we'd be facing today. But here, we'll take a full mulligan. I'm going to look for some of our better early game package. Our Durandi Sculptors are great. The Fleet Feather Trackers are good. This is a much better start, especially if we can pick up another 2-drop. And so the way that I like to look at this, I don't think the Fleet Feather Tracker is super important on the first turn. We wouldn't want to trade it with the Dreg Dredgers. That's cool. But the bigger play that worries me is the Vile Feast. Just having our Fleet Feather Tracker getting eaten by Vile Feast is pretty terrible. It's pretty horrible. It doesn't feel good. And so this leaves us in a spot to where we can now drop the Durand Sculptor. Next turn, we can drop Fleet Feather Tracker, have it protected from Vile Feast, and then potentially get this Mirai Warden going as well. See if opponent comes in and drops the Drain onto the Sculptor before we can play more units here. Does not. Getting all the Mega Tusks out of here. Alright, so let's engage in battle. We'll leave the Durand Sculptor back. I'm going to say I would assume he'll trade with our 2-drop, only taking 1 point of damage this turn, but we're still getting a reasonable build-up of units here. This is the kind of bummer with the current list that we're playing right now. I cut back on the Inspired Lights, just the way that the meta is right now, looking to have the full sets of Make It Rains and Sharp Sights for the Elusive stack. And we have this like great draw that would love to see an Inspired Light. We lucked into picking it up. This is some of that streamer stuff, getting all the goodies when you need them. But that was a nice and lucky draw there. All right, so we're going to look to take down this Maokai now. I'm not as worried about opponent getting the stats out of the Dead Bloom Wanderer. Oh man, he's just got it all, huh? All right, well, let's clear out the board where we can. Are we going to keep attacking beyond this? We'll hit with Zap, that's for certain. Okay, I think this is fine. If he wants to block our Quinn with the Sapling, we're threatening a bunch of damage this turn. Sea of Vengeance. Okay, so now, look Dum Dum here to the left. The rest of his blocks aren't special. I assume he's going to put down a couple of blocks, but we're still getting in pretty reasonable damage. All right, not bad. Old Maokai's at 17 of 25. All right, there goes the deep. Oh boy. Oh, it's the plate worm. Okay, I thought he hit the AoE and was like, "Oh, great! This is this is the real feel-good moment of the day." All right, so we're not going to be able to get our Quinn to flip. It's a bit of a sad thing for the round, right? If we want to attack with Quinn, he's going to be able to hook into her with the Shipwreck Hoarder. But, I mean, if we don't want to rally this turn, if we want to wait until next turn, we might be able to pull something off. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I guess the way that we could look at this is, what if we rally this turn, attack with some things that aren't Quinn, and then next turn we just open. I think that's the way to go about this. So let's throw a block in front of the Hoarder. I don't want to just die to Atrocity next turn, so we do have to come in and block here. Then we can rally. Well, and I don't know. It gives him this chance to block with the Plate Worm now. Maybe we do just have to give up on Quinn. Right, if he gets the 3 5/5s on the board, we're just never going to be able to attack through. So I think we have to open. He's going to throw the Hoarder in front of Quinn. Maokai should probably be blocking here. He neglects to do so. Now I think we're okay. If we can get in for this 3 damage with Zap and then Make It Rain. Do we want to play it a little bit safer and go for our other cards now? Maybe we do. Right, the Plate Worms don't have Elusive. The downside with this board would have been if we, say, attacked and then he had a drain. Right now we can look to potentially play around the lifesteal elements a little bit. He's got a good one. He's got a big spell. He's excited for it. Said, look out, bust. I'm bringing my good ones. Oh, a salvage. That sounds awesome. I don't know what he's looking to hit here, but that sounds great.
Looking for trouble? It found you.
All right, so as it stands, we should be able to attack with everybody, right? If we go into the next turn, we're just going to die, right? We'll have access to the Make It Rain, but getting to kill anything of his here would be pretty good. Drop him a little cupcake if we're emoting. Undergrowth onto Misfortune. I don't think that does it. Glad we took this path, right? We would have been hurting if we were going for exacties. But just got to watch this sweet Maokai flip, and we should be good to go. It says neg 6 into 6. I think that's good enough. GG. Mark it a W for bust. All right. That's why you're the captain. All right, next round. What you got for us, duder? Another less than delightful matchup. These people are trying to make it hard on me today. I try to say, hey, here's something cool you can play. Go for it, have fun. And these people got to bring out all the bad matchups. Not cool, Joe. Drop a little cupcake on that. So the way we typically look at this this matchup against Gangplank is you have to do everything you can to prevent damage against it, right? If they're able to come in and get Gangplank or Sejuani leveled up on turn 5 or turn 6, that's kind of painful. But if we're able to limit that until turn 6, turn 7, turn 8, gives us a lot more opportunities to take them down. And so, see what happens. Just going to try and get some width on him now. Having the one Durand Sculptor does a lot of work in terms of preventing them from hitting us with like Make It Rains and getting the bigger AoEs on our board. Okay, he got the point of damage in, which is the big one for him, but we don't lose our Poro for it. Interesting. What's his angle? Is he just going to have another Make It Rain or something? I'm really surprised, like, why wouldn't block with the Black Market Merchant? Spirits Unleashed. That's the thing people are doing today. I was curious if that was going to be a part of the stack. All right, well, let's just go ahead and get a blocker down. If he wants to attack with the Merchant, we'll be kind of ready for it. Now we can drop in the Durandi Sculptor. Next turn, we'll have double Broadwing or Broadwing Sergeant, however we want to do it. Broadwing Misfortune, even better. Let's see if we can't take this over. But again, the real problem that we're suffering here is that he's been able to get his champions leveled up, right? He's managed to deal that point of damage literally every turn of the game. And so having the turn 5, turn 6 flipped champions is a bit problematic for us. But I'm going to throw in the Make It Rain now, so the Misfortune hook just automatically kills, or the Misfortune love tap automatically kills the Black Market Merchant. Hopefully we can get some big damages in this turn. So now any block he makes is going to die to the love tap. He has a something like a troll chant. That would be kind of unfortunate, but you have to, as you're playing this deck, you have to make cuts somewhere, right? And so I'm not exactly certain what those cuts would be, but if you're playing the Spirits Unleashed, there's a good chance you can't fit in a lot of these other bigger cards. All right, though. See ya, misfortune. Only brings in the one that's interesting. You have the opportunities for the full team Frostbite. We might have scared it away once we added the Broadwing to the board, but interesting to see them not attack with the other units. But in a pretty bad spot now. We might be able to outlast this Sejuani, but not feeling great about it. It's going to count on you, Zap. So we do have this opportunity. We can send Zap in here. Like, we might have to play a defensive for Demacia this round, which I don't know if we can win the game doing that. I mean, we are pretty like all in at this point in terms of we have to have Zap win, and then if he has some dumb card to like deal damage to face to stop Zap's damage, we've lost anyways. But I think this is our angle for potentially getting a victory here. Don't want to take too much incidental damage with this Sejuani running around, but we'll see. I mean, it's down to 2 cards, so we have some opportunities to make it through next turn without getting frostbitten. All right, I think we just let this happen. The thing with this Sharp Sight is we can potentially get Zap in for 7. Like, I know we have Cytheria on the board right now, and Cytheria can potentially push up Zap a little bit higher, but I'm kind of liking that angle that we have as to where, depending on how wrong things go, we can potentially get some extra damages in. But this is all fine. If he's going to... this guy can't block. I think we want to take 6. Right, we're in the space to where if he has a Fury of the North, that's fantastic. But otherwise, next turn... we wouldn't be dead there. So we're 1 short of doing all of this. Could still just play Quinn and the 4 Demacia. I don't think I have too much problem with that. Right, if he's going to, say, play a Parlay to be the means to deal damage to face, you can't just send it to face, number 1. But number 2 gives us a little bit of extra, a little bit of extra angle in the event that we can kill with a scout attack in there. All right, cool though. We got it. GG. Let's get back out there, Quinn. Fuck him up. So, man, we had our first day of snowfall out here in Kansas City. It wasn't a good one, but I really like the wintertime. I like the snow. I like it. I think it looks pretty and stuff. Makes things all quiet and look nice. We got our first one, and so I wasn't expecting too much. They said we were going to get between 1 and 2 inches, and that's never accurate at this time of year. Well, it's probably the amount of precipitation that we had, but the ground is so warm it all just melts pretty quickly. But I did get to wake up this morning and see the snow on the ground and stuff is all pretty. You say, oh, that's nice. So glad to have that happen. All right, though, Nami Nora. Not entirely certain what we're going to be in for here, but We have this decent curve of getting the Broadwing into Misfortune. We can pick on some of their smaller units while staying away from their trap makers.
I'm one of the good guys, but not.
Get a reasonable build up here. This is one of those spots where I worry a little bit since we're only playing 2 Relentless Pursuits. That's our kind of main way to take these decks down, is if the opponent does their thing, right? They get this fully wide board. They're using their junk constructs and their Noras and everything to get a lot of width. And then we attack through, kill it all, and they're like, cool, we don't take any damage. You really need that rally to get that second round of damage going through. And now that we're only playing 2 rallies, it can be a little bit more challenging. And the tea maker. Sure. So we'll add in Zap. I'm just going to play a Make It Rain here. I don't think we need to get involved with this junk construct. We have this hand that's pretty good at just dealing elusive damage. So it's like next turn we can play Zap. We can pick on Nami with our Broadwing, look to get in a bit of damage with the Zaps and such, and not have to completely worry about a ground-based combat here. Is he physically playing this? His more powder is just in his deck. Ew. Well, somebody's going to be making it rain next turn. I think that's pretty safe to say. I'm just going to go with Zap. We have a Sharp Sight in hand if we need to try and protect a little bit, but like if we want to open and make a play onto the powder kegs, he can still just make it rain out of that. There's not too many slow spells I would worry about with these kegs hitting the board. Definitely just feels like a make it rain. All right, we could try and get this Nami off the board, though. Oh, wow. He just more powdered into nothing. Interesting. Interesting, I tell you. All right, well. Feels like we're in a pretty good spot. Ooh, Ember Maiden? How interesting is this? He's got the 2-1 health units on the board. Let's play Zap. We gotta see if we hit a Inspired Light. Make It Rain's another good one, but we're pretty well protected from the Ember Maiden. It's 12? You shouldn't have a way to burn us out, right? Let's see. We're gonna be losing the Broadwing either way. So it can block. I mean, I guess we have Sharp Sight in hand, but let's see what happens. All right. His Ember Maiden says, "Watch this, dog. I'm gonna boom my whole board." Let's just pass. It feels like this could be a spot to where we need to play a Sharp Sight if he's going to try and do something clever. Is this the clever thing? Does the powder keg work off the Ember Maiden? I'm not sure how this works. It's not a skill ability, so it shouldn't do anything. Cool. Alright. GG. Interesting game. Interesting games today. It's been fun. What do we got? A little Victor Fizz. Sure thing, boss. What do we got? Not keeping any of this. We're again looking for those 2-drops. Get our nice little challenger package in the early game. Much better. All right, I think we're good with the tracker. I'm just going to open here. It's not a lot of ways that this turn's going to go good for us. So I think the tracker coming in is fine. If he wants to spend a burn spell, great. But if we follow up with either the bird, that doesn't seem like good things are going to be coming. He's just too easy for him to be like, cool, it's Conchologist. I'm ready to block. And this lets us kind of set up a little bit more with the Durandi Sculptor.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
Cool. Like an early fizz. I don't have much desire to just be dropping Make It Rains, I don't think. The way I was kind of looking at this is I want to play a Broadwing here. Next turn I want to play Misfortune. That gives us the 2 mana buildup. Then we can look to just hook in Fizz with the Broadwing. Or depending on how he spends his mana, we might be able to Make It Rain him down. But
It found you.
the Make It Rain should be decent here. The way it can be, upsetting is it does target Fizz, right? The Make It Rain is a target ability, deal 1 damage to 3 randomly targeted enemies, and so it can fail here. But let's toss one down. There's not a ton of 1-cost cards here, right? They certainly have them, but there's not a ton of them, and so if it makes it through, I wouldn't be surprised, and if it gets counterspelled, it's not the end of the world. This is going to be one of these stupid Shellfolk deck, isn't it? We've had too much to complain about here in recent times to be complaining about the Shellfolk deck. You've given us too much opportunity, Riot. Too many things to complain about. But this is at least a decent board. I mean, we're gonna have the double Broadwings. Our units are growing. Cythria's gonna come down next turn. He dropped his aloof at an opportune time, and of course we draw Ranger's Resolve just like a boss. So let's see if we got it. Dropping a Wallop onto Cythria makes sense. And then his Victor card. Okay. So not as awesome as I was hoping. We had a lot of big possibilities this turn if Cythria was able to attack. But going to go for maximum damage on Victor here. I don't think dealing like 2 damage to Victor and then having a 2 health Broadwing is that big of a deal. So let's deal maximum damage to Victor. Maybe we'll get a chance to take him down with a smaller unit. And then we'll still have a 1 health Broadwing in the back. If it comes down to it now, we might be able to get that Cythria hook with the Broadwing onto Victor and take him down or something. But we do need to be winning this game fast. We're about to get completely overwhelmed by what they're doing. If we can't win on our next attack, we're going to have some serious problems. All right, I was right. It's this dumbass card. Let's see what he's able to do this turn. Maybe we can get out of this. Uh-oh, we got the prank. I was wanting to I couldn't decide. I kind of want to hang on to the Make It Rain so we could try and pick off as many units as he has, but we do have Cythria ready to just fearsome attack through everything he's doing. Missed out on the lifesteal. That's kind of cool. All right, well, we got to do a damage to face. That's That's about as much as we could be hoping for, right? Well, no, I get there is a realistic reason to want to hit these 1 health units, right? Because they can physically block Cythria on their own, right? We can hook the Victor out of combat. He can block Cythria, block Misfortune, and we're only hitting for like 10 damage next turn. So that would have been a pretty big ask to hit all of these, so. But let's see what we draw next turn, and then we concede. Again, I'm not sure how this dumb deck works, but I'm not going to take the 15 minutes to find out. I think that this stuff is absurd. Whenever rotation comes, I hope Curious Shellfolk just gets removed from the game. Alright, I think we're dead. And bring in the squad like this. Hook out a Shellfolk. He gets to put 1 unit onto Cythria, one of his small bros over here. Victor gets to block the next big one. We're only coming in for 10. It's going to do it. GG. Yeah, devs, if one of you are listening, if intern, you need something to say at the next meeting, if you want to say something smart and sound brilliant. The thing that I have with Curious Shellfolk, I know I've said this 100 times, but no, number one, there is the thing as to where I still don't know how those decks win the game. I'm sure they have a way to do it, but I feel like at the level of competition that we're at, and having never played against a Curious Shellfolk deck that actually finished off a game, I think that that's just a bit of an absurdity. And so I'm sure that they have some way to win the game. The way that they win the game, in my opinion, is typically just holding your opponent hostage. And so that's not fun. And then the next thing I like to mention is the situation of are both players having fun here, right? And so the classic situation I had with are both players having fun was in the sense of Elnix, right? The Elnix were relevant for us in the Lands of Expedition, and you never found those spots to where both players were having fun, right? You either had you either had your opponent hit like 30 power of units. Sure, they were having fun then. They played their Elnic and missed. They were not having fun then. And where in the middle do we land to where both players are having fun in this situation? And it doesn't quite exist, in my opinion. And so I feel like a lot of that happens with the Shellfolk. I still don't know what that deck actually does, but I don't feel like it ever provides situations to where both players are having fun during the game. That's what we're here for, right? We're just here to have fun and stuff. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I've been wrong before. What did he just do? He just discarded some shit for no reason? All right, well, I was trying to set up this board with the intent that we're going to be dealing with the 1 health units along with our Misfortune. With her falling, it doesn't quite pan out as well, but I think this is still okay. Moonboy makes sense. Still not sure why I discarded stuff there. All right, well, let's see if he picked up the +3 damage. That's the one. It's like, from my perspective, I just assume that they always pick up +3 damage, but I could say that he'd probably also consider picking summon a unit. And so I think it's probably like 75% 3 damage, 25% summon a unit. All right, well, we should be relatively safe now. Barrier bro coming in. It is the 3 damage. Oh man, is he still going to have a Mystic Shot behind as well? Oh no, he's putting it on the Durandi Sculptor. Okay. So he picks up double stun, but he's giving up on Moonboy here. I'm going to attack with the Wings in the Wave. It gives the opponent the free opportunity to just take it down. But as, like, this is the kind of spot to where I typically say you never want to make the attacks with these units, right? It's just what positive thing comes out of me attacking with the wings and the wave? Typically, it's nothing, right? Either the opponent completely ignores it, they take 0 damage and nothing happens, or they get to come out and win the combat in the way that they see fit. But we have a bunch of summon units in our hand, and we can't get the full amount of summons with this dipshit just hanging out on the board. And so I wanted to give the opponent the opportunity to take down the wings and the wave, so that when we come in and want to, say, summon an Island Navigator or a Mirai Warden, it's not taking up space, right? Because as it stands right now, I would love to add in Durandi Sculptor and then be able to play the Island Navigator for full health, but as it stands, we're not quite able to do that.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
Go ahead and add the Sculptor. I don't think he ever attacks with his ground units here. Maybe he does. Maybe he does send in the fan club president, but surprised he didn't come in with the Poros. That's the odd one to me. But see, now we're kind of in a jam, in a bit of a pickle. Hate you, wings and the wave. I don't know if you're the wings or the wave, whichever one you are. I don't appreciate what you're doing here. So how bad is this? How close is Zoe to flipping? She's at 4 of 10. He's got 2 expensive spells in his hand. So she's definitely threatening a flip. Nothing we can do about it, but she's threatening it. Then we need to draw our good cards. We need some kind of big unit booster here.
I've never met anyone like you.
Well, there's a big unit. You're at least better than the wings and the wave. You at least represent damage here, Shadow Fiend. You already made us lose out on 1 unit.
Look at my squirrel pin. Are you going to the show? Look at my squirrel pin. Are you going to the show?
As much as I talk about the pay-to-win lifestyle and everything, how do you feel about a person that decides to Prismatic Fan Club President? You have the opportunity to turn 1 card prismatic. You pick one of the most toxic and obnoxious cards ever printed in the game. Guy went with Fan Club President here. Very interesting to me in what Tanzez and Bematir's thought process was. Says, I'm going Fan Club President. Look out, guys.
I got this. I've got your back.
Alright, let's see how this goes, though. It seems like last turn he was kind of afraid to attack with his Zoe because of cards like Sharp Sight. Looks like he might be in that same space. I don't feel like boosting our kind of single Island Navigator just on this turn is worth it. I kind of want to see if he'll wait and pass. It's pretty risky in terms of, the Zoe's about to flip. He's got, as it stands right now, 2 Fan Club President cards, and he's got 2 Trail of Evidence cards. So he's got a lot of incentive to not attack with Zoe. All right, but here's your time to shine, Wings in the Wave. We talked a lot of trash about you earlier, but I believe in you now. I know you can do it. You fought hard. You fought valiantly. This game looks like it's done. How did this shape up? Got 2 units on board. Okay. GG. All right, on to the next one. Curious. What kind of person does that? We talk a lot of trash about people that play the control decks. What does the control deck player like to do? They like to hang out by themselves on the weekend and play chess against themselves, right? Because there's no one else in the world better than them. And so they just play by themselves so they can have some equal competition. And I'm curious about the type of person that still thinks it's a good time to play Seraphine and to play Fan Club President. It's got to be an awful life, right? Sounds even worse. I don't know, man. I don't know. In the tiers of life, though, I assure you, I am. If I am 100% positive about anything, it's that person playing some kind of nasty Shadow Isles control deck. Way cooler than anyone that ever wants to play Seraphine. You heard it here first. Put it in your notebook. You can quote me on it. Put it on your Twitter and your Facebook feed. FTP Bust, bring in the hot takes. Anyone that prefers to play Shadow Isles Control is a better human being than someone that wants to play Seraphine. It's out there. It's been said. It's been done. You guys, you need that. I don't know who it is. I always think it's like Sylvester Stallone and Apollo Creed in the dudes kind of like interlocking biceps kind of thing. The show of unity, whatever it's called, and that's how I feel like we can get together with the. With the Shadow Isles players, we can bond. We can talk about how great it is to have Seraphine not be a part of our lives. But all right, this here's not awesome. I was hoping that we could stall a little bit and potentially get a better make it rain. We might, that's kind of what we're building up to here. But this hand is garbage. This hand is not good, and it just did not get any better. You can't be playing against Annie Jen and not having plays on the second and the third turn of the game. And so we at least got a nice play here. He didn't have a play, but he could have had a play. He didn't drop it. At least now our potential saving grace is our ability to add a bunch of double units, the 2 Island Navigators and the Quinn, giving us that potential to get a bunch of width.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Do we want to gem before we go into the next turn? Like, say, gem the gift giver so we can take down one of these units? I think I'm on board. I don't think I want to attack. Not quite ready for that. Right, we have this Inspired Light in hand that can give us a lot of potential, like especially if we're able to, say, drop Quinn this turn, but do we ever get anything out of playing a smaller unit? I don't think so. Quinn should be fine. Like, the downside to adding Quinn right here is we have Misfortune in hand, and if we want to get a scout attack or a hook with Misfortune next turn, we can't quite do it with Valor. So that's a bit of a problem there. But otherwise, this looks okay.
That's far enough. Protector, shield me.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and take down the Saboteur, try and prevent that point of damage on the next attack. Do you really have the second Danny? The second day, and he gives him the Disintegrate onto the Quinn. Maybe we should have switched these around. Well, I guess either way, he would probably be killing our Quinn, right? He would just move it down to the other unit. But if we blocked, say, the Sunhawk with Quinn, that would give us the kind of opportunities to at least take down Annie in combat. Get the scarier unit off of the board. So what are we doing this turn? Dropping a Vanguard Sergeant Misfortune, or are we playing a Make It Rain? I think I'm leaning towards the Misfortune here. Gets the most units on the board. I guess the love taps probably aren't that important, though. Let's see if we can't get the Saboteur down. Nope. Worst Make It Rain 2022, right there, coming at you.
No prey, no pay. Scouting ahead.
He's all got the scout, right? Right. You gotta block something on this next attack, though.
Just like hunting thresher geese. Your path
so I guess that worked out okay. I guess that was fun. You can pull your Swain emote back sometime if you want. All right, he drops us to 6. It's about as safe as we could hope for. If he hits a Decimate, it's not enough to kill us. He needs 2 cards to kill us here. He'd have to hit like a Decimate and then a Nox and Fervor for next turn. Tusk Speaker isn't enough.
Keep up, keep up. Okay, ready. You've made your path. Buru do not doubt.
Okay. All right, Fam Jam, I think we've done it. I think we've victoried over Annie Jen.
Still heart, steady aim.
Boom. GG. It has been marked W. FTP bust.
That's why I'm the captain.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Here's your, opportunity to see how bad this matchup can be. It's not good. Good. Spoiler alert. It's not good. It's still winnable. You know, that's one of the things with Scouts is it does have a bunch of good matchups, but a lot of the bad matchups aren't that bad, right? So it's probably like 60-40 in their favor, but they don't have these matchups to where the opposing deck's like 80-20 on against Scouts. So we can do some stuff. Ooh, Make It Rain. They have so many 1 health units in this deck. Let's build up. I was intending on just making the tempo play here of Bright stealing the bird and trying to hook in the Blade Squire, but if we're gonna pick up Make It Rain, the entire Blade Squire team all has 1 health, right? And so we have the opportunities to clean a lot of this out.
Sometimes you're the fish.
All right, squad.
Sometimes you're the bait.
Squeeze them.
Finally, some action.
Stay still.
Noise. Drop a little cupcake on that one. Just a little bit of cupcake, not too much. We're still in a fairly bad spot. He's got don't get me wrong. A rumble coming down next turn would not be good. It would not be good. But
Fortune favors
you know, we gotta go for it. We gotta take our good licks when we get him. Now the thing that you might be piecing together in your head right now is, can we kill Rumble in this combat? Not with Misfortune, right? The Misfortune hook on this combat is going to pop, or the Misfortune love tap's going to pop the spell shield, and so the sharp sight onto Bird will not kill Rumble here. But we get to take down the thing. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and make a scout attack next turn. So if we get to drop the Bright Steel onto Misfortune, and then we have kind of double protection and that we already have a sharp sight in hand, might be able to get a shutdown on this dum-dum. Goes the Overwhelm route. Love to see him spend all of his mana next turn. Ooh, nice, nice. So now we can add Marai Warden and play the 4 Demacia. Sounds pretty good to me. I did the mathematics on it. It's good. It's good. Sure, it's not a lethal rumble. All right, welcome to Stat City. So I think we're still safe here against a Whirling Death, right? What's his health at? We should be hitting for at least 15. We should be hitting for 16 if we attack with everybody. He blocks 2 Whirling Deaths to the left. We should be hitting for 15 plus a love tap.
Personal space invaded.
No kidding.
GG. There you have it. You know what you're doing there? You're marking it a W for bust. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. These have been fun. Let's head into our last game here. See how battle number 8 goes. See if we can't achieve a little bit more victory. Say, ooh, bust, that's the best. The best part of my day right there. Hear Bust talk about the snow and talk about playing scouts. Arguably the best day of my life, man. You say, man, I watched We Are Marshall the other night. That was great. Bust talking about snow. Oof. Munched on some of those Necco wafers. Turns out those were great. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all I can say. All right, so up against some other dirty Seraphine player. We got some Seraphine Victor this time around. See, I like hanging onto the Warden. It's our most aggressive play that we can be starting with here. See how this goes. Leading off with the Durandi Sculptor, seeing if he's got a Mystic Shot. Just if you play the Warden, it's kind of asking to get hit by a Pokey Stick. But now that we've drawn the second Warden, I think I'm okay to go double Warden here. Can have a bunch of stats on the board. Okay.
Oh, I've never met anyone like you.
Forgot what it could feel like to play 1 health units. This right here is what stopped 1 health units for literally 1 month. Impossible to play a Mirai Warden, impossible to play a 1 health unit. Because of this one. This one. He's already up 2 cards on the Seraphine, and she's still ready to trade for something else. Somebody thought it was a good idea. Thought this card was a good idea, huh? Ugh. Is this what the world's gonna be? Are we gonna get to Worlds this up? Oh, fucking A! He had to make it rain. Are we gonna get to Worlds this upcoming weekend? And it's just going to be the marquee event of the year with just an absolute shit ton of Seraphine and Shellfolk decks. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, that sounds fucking miserable. Sounds absolutely miserable. Has to feel like a failure on Riot's part. Nobody wants to watch that. At what point, what epic moment are you going to see when the best of the world get together, come to do Battle for Worlds, and you have to watch them play curious Shellfolk mirror matches? Have fun. Have fun with that. Whoever's casting, whoever gets that job, if it's a Kaido or a Skarzig or whoever's doing it, just sitting around watching a bunch of curious Shellfolk mirror matches. Yeah, that sounds like a great way to spend a day. I hope they're ready to clock overtime. They're gonna be putting in the work. All right. So stuff has happened in this game. Great. We're close to getting a fairly big scout board. It doesn't seem like he's been able to do anything about it. So I'm kind of interested in starting to try to add zaps to the board so we can try and find an inspired light.
I sculpt what others only dream of.
All right, Durandi Sculptor, you're in. Up next, I'm gonna drop a little Zap Spray Fin.
Now that's a bit better.
Didn't find it. Sad day. It would have given us quite a bit of power here had we been able to throw.
In a long
Had we been able to throw the 2 or the 3/2 bird into Seraphine. How bad is this? What's this deal? 3 damage?
It was,
Doesn't kill that much. Do we ever just win the game here? So we attack with Seraphine. He blocks her. Or no, we attack with the Cythria. He blocks her with, I don't know, Zondiva. He has 1 fearsome block after that. Alright. Gotta try and punch this damage in, though. We got a pretty close to lethal. And then we've got another zap in hand along with the Make It Rain. So we just want to punch in whatever damage we can here, and then we'll look to win with zap next turn.
sorry, Papa.
All right, not horrible. Never feels good with them untapping with back alley bar on the board, but well, maybe we're making some progress.
My shield is yours.
All right, you can give me all the +2 cost to Make It Rains, I guess. I mean, I guess, do we even need to, like, drop Zap? It's like I had in my head I want to go for Zap and then try and pick up a... pick up an Inspired Light. Doesn't seem like Quinn is the way to go here. It seems a little scary. It's gonna boom the Cythria, that's for certain. Oh. Oh, just a Death Ray. Okay.
Press on.
And a Plaza Guardian. Sure. And a Plaza Guardian. Sure. Probably should have made it rain before all these units came down, but kind of is what it is.
Fall by my sword.
He shouldn't have too much other ways to deal damage. I'm not entirely certain what's going to be coming at us, but I think that was still kind of okay safe. And a beam. Alright, so you're telling me this is what this game's going to come down to, huh? This game's going to come down to whether or not we hit on the Make It Rain? Oh, no, we drew another zap. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, let's see what the president serves up. A load of fun, I'm certain. Here it comes. That Nightfall thing. That Nightfall thing. Didn't have it that time. Good stuff. GG. Get that dumbass deck out of here. And so, gonna go ahead and mark it. Mark it a 6. Victory for Bust. GG. And so, I mean, like I said, we had a pretty good record here with the Scouts. Everybody always forgets about the deck. They never want to come out and play it. I guess it's not exciting and it's not new. People want to play their Seraphines and their Curious Shelf Folk and the like, but you know, whatever. The deck is still good. It's still strong. I'm not entirely certain on some of the numbers. The way that I have this tuned is expecting a lot of elusives, which we didn't play, and a lot of Draven Jinx, which we also did not play. But that's why we're playing the full 3 copies of Make It Rain, the 3 copies of Sharp Sight. We're much more tuned and geared towards fighting the early game. But, this is a very easy space to where if you want to say, well, I don't plan on seeing too much of that, or, my strategy is to just ban elusives, then you can cut this stuff back, right? You can play 2 Make It Range, you can play 2 Sharp Sights, you can play the 3rd Inspired Light, you can get the 3rd Rally in, you can get the 3rd Cythria in, you can play more copies of Genevieve, right? You can do a lot of tuning with this deck to make it fit what you're seeing in the ladder and what you're seeing in the meta. A lot of really great opportunities here, but I think this is a pretty decent shell, if you're just looking to grind up in the ladder a little bit or win some daily quests or whatever your goals are. This is still a very strong deck, and I think it still has a place in the meta, although no one plays it. And so don't forget about it, man. Don't forget that this is a thing. This is quite strong, and so hope you have some good battles with it. And so nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.